And let's have a moment for this new leaf here. How many shades of green can one leaf have? Really, by far the most easygoing alocasia that I have. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, wow, 5 leaves. I didn't realize it had 5 leaves. It's time for an alocasia collection video. I don't know how many alocasia I have. I've never counted them. I don't have a whole lot and they're not huge. My Patreon members would have seen my entire alocasia collection. I think it was in January or February, but it's been a few months and I decided to make one for my general page. What they looked like in the beginning, how long I've had them for, my observations and care tips for these plants. My alocasia aren't perfect. Some of them have definitely had better days, but I just still want to capture them here. A lot of them are going through a process and some of them need to be repotted. So we know how alocasia behave when you repot them. So I thought this is a great time to capture them and then make the changes, and then we'll do an update video in a couple of months. If you're new, hi, my name is Stephanie. I love collecting houseplants and I like sharing tips on how I do so, and where I can, I like to give budget-friendly options. If you like that kind of stuff, consider subscribing. It's free and it keeps us in touch. So the first alocasia is one, I will preface this by saying it's not looking its best right now. It is my favorite alocasia, but I feel like it's a band-aid. Let's just rip it off like a band-aid. I'm just going to show it to you in its current not so happy state. Let's capture it here, you know, transparency, show you all the good, the bad, the ugly, and then we can move on to my other not so great alocasia. I don't know what I'm saying here. Okay, I think this is a little better. The background is a little less busy. My Alocasia Frydek is the first plant that I want to share with you. It certainly looks very different. I'm actually going to insert some footage of probably when it looked its best, when it was the apple of my eye and I couldn't stop talking to you about it. That's my Alocasia Frydek, and I hope to one day get it back to looking that way, but this is what it looks like now. I had to repot it. Actually, ever since that repot, it has struggled. So something that I would like to share about alocasia is if you have one and you had to repot it and it either lost all its leaves and went dormant or really kicked up a fuss, don't feel bad. That is completely normal for alocasia. You just have to hang in there. Hang in there, don't lose hope, because it will eventually get over itself and start to grow back. It will just take a long time. I learned this with this plant. These absolutely stunning leaves, I can't. Oh my goodness. This is one of my favorite plants in my entire collection. It is so beautiful. And let's have a moment for this new leaf here. What are we doing? Why? It's just trying to steal the show. Steal the show. Oh my, look at all the colors. How many colors? How many shades of green can one leaf have? Really? So stunning. I am sad that it's not looking the way that I know it can look, but again, it's the process. You have to trust the process. I've had it for a year. So I got it in December of 2023. So I've had it a year and a half now. And it started off beautifully for me. From the beginning, I knew that semi-hydro was the way to go. And that's a theme you'll see in this video. If you have alocasia, I think semi-hydro is the best thing that you can do for it. I'm not saying it cannot grow in soil, but it really reduces errors with this plant. Alocasia, this one especially, it's very thirsty and it hates drying out. When they dry out, they get those little yellowing bits on the tips. Another thing is that if you under fertilize, they will also start to bow their leaves. I have it growing in my homemade pond. I will leave the link to the video below. That was the inspiration for it. The inspiration is from You Don't Even Grow Hair. Her pond video inspired me to make mine, and I just made little tweaks to it just to make it my own. But I think her recipe is fantastic, hence the reason why it inspired me. This has, I think, 4 plants in it here now, and the Alocasia Frydek tends to throw out a lot of these all white leaves. So be careful. It needs light in order to keep the variegation, but try not to give it too much light. It is possible to overdo the light with this plant. Plants need the green in order to make food and photosynthesize, and the less green it has, the less the lower of a lifespan that leaf will have, and it will expire a lot faster because it's actually a liability to your plant, because it takes energy from the plant to keep that leaf alive. It's not pulling its weight, it's not making a lot of food because there's so little green on it. Definitely you have to strike a balance when it comes to how much light you give this plant, but do not do it the injustice or the disservice of not giving it enough light, pulling it back too much, because the leaves can start to revert. And the thing about leaves, when they revert, it's hard to bring it back. So a balance is really important. Anyways, you may be wondering what's up with the white pot. I could not find a self-watering pot that was deep enough to house this plant. So I put a pot in a pot, and probably those self-watering pots do exist, but I'm not willing to spend the money on them. So it's in this sort of setup of a pot in a pot. And then when I get a nicer outer pot, I will transfer it, because I think this one leaks just a tiny bit. But yeah, that's it. I repotted it. I did an impromptu repotting about a week ago. I shared a picture on my Patreon. There, I like to give a little bit of, updates on what I'm doing with my plants if I do any impromptu repotting. And I did, and I'm so surprised that it's still looking good. Did have to remove a couple of the older leaves this morning, but overall it's looking decent. It's looking decent. It hasn't dropped all its leaves like, a crybaby. But yeah, anyways, that's this plant. I absolutely love it. And I think I was being too hard on myself, because now that I look at it on camera, it does look way better than I imagined it looked. But that's this guy. So again, it's living at the bottom here. So this shelf I've got on the top, I've got some other variegated plants, and at the very bottom near the floor, I have it in here. And I have a Barina grow light facing it. I'll insert some B-roll of how it looks. That's the first one, my Alocasia Friedek. So it's appropriate then that the next plant be a version of the first plant. And this is the Alocasia Heuchkeliana, or the non-variegated Friedek. This plant is actually harder to grow than the Friedek, the one that I just showed you. Actually, no, that doesn't look good. The Friedek, to my surprise, was very easy. I just thought that for a highly variegated plant, it was going to be a lot harder. But then I got this and I realized, oh no, it's this one that's the tough one. This one definitely does not handle underwatering as easily. No Alocasia likes to be underwatered, but this one has an even lower tolerance for it, I find. It has these beautiful, absolutely stunning velvet leaves. What's crazy is that this was a plant that I never liked. This was a plant that I never cared for. I just glanced over it in nurseries. I just didn't think it was all that until my mom's version, or hers, grew into this beautiful, commanding plant that I wish I had a picture of, and I don't. It was huge. It had so many plants in there. But then it got attacked by spider mites, and then she had to separate it because it was just way too big. And so this plant is a spider mite magnet. It hasn't happened to me just yet. Like I watch this plant every single day, and I inspect it every single day for pests. It lives in my office, which is also my plant room. And so the plants in there get a good looking at every day. It's growing in this clear, sort of like a pedestal type pot. I have a video of me repotting it, and I might link it down below so you could see that video. And I also have a video coming up, so it'll be posted after this video, about plants that I was struggling with and I helped them to recover, and how I did that. This plant is actually on that list because I struggled so badly with this plant for a very long time. And as you can see, it's making a comeback. It's doing great. I have all my best tips, and you're gonna get sort of a little bit of a journey in that video as well. You're gonna get a journey of that plant and some other plants that struggled a little bit and how I got them to recover. But anyways, that is it. This is a glimpse as to how my Mitch is doing right now. No idea why it's growing in all these different directions. I couldn't tell you why, but Yeah, it's doing really well. Sorry, I'm all over the place. My brain is like that today. It's growing in semi-hydro, lechuza pon in here, and with a little bit of perlite and leca in here as well. A tip is that I would have put the leca down below. I think that would have been better to put the leca down below and then the pon at the top, but you live and you learn. So yeah, that is plant number 2, my Heuchkeliana. Okay, so these are my 2 biggest alocasia. Every other one after that are much smaller. So here's another alocasia that just would not stop flowering. And it's this one. The next one is my Alocasia cuprea. This little guy here is one that I never wanted until I saw a nice big full version of this online, like a nice big one. And I was like, whoa, no, it is beautiful. Yeah, I really love it. I love the iridescence, that purplish, that burgundy iridescence to it. And I love the red backs. It's very, very lovely. It's so nice. I think it had some damage. This is actually from damage from unfurling. It got stuck. I think I needed to water it. It didn't have enough water and it had some damage here because of that. But overall, it's growing really well. Eventually the iridescence does get a little bit dull. You know, it does starts to fade as the plant becomes a bit more mature, the leaves get older. But I think I need to do this plant better. I think I need to give it a little bit more love. It needs a refresh. I know it hasn't been in here very long, but I think it's time for my alocasia to get all of them. I know I've said this, but it's time for them to get a nice deep clean, washed down nicely, put into bigger pots. I know I have a lot of them in no drainage. I think I prefer self-watering pots. The only thing about alocasia in self-watering pots is that a lot of self-watering pots tend to be wide versus deep. A lot of them. And if you want a deep one, you sort of have to make your own, like a DIY setup, like what I did for the for the Frydek. And so that's my struggle. That's why my alocasia are in no drainage. But if you can get those deep self-watering pots. But anyways, that's this guy. Super cute. I've had it not that long. I've had it for, I think since fall of last year. So either October or November. I'll insert a picture. It's not that much further along, but I'm actually glad that it's keeping the leaves. I fertilize all my alocasia with every single watering. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, wow, 5 leaves. I didn't realize it had 5 leaves. Wow, for such a tiny little plant, it's really small. And it pushed out, you'll see I've chopped off 2 little bits here. It just keeps pushing flowers. It pushed 2 flowers for me and then I chopped them off and then it pushed out, I think 2 leaves and then it pushed 2 flowers again, chopped those 2. So these are the latest 2 flowers that I had to chop off. So hopefully in a year or maybe in 6 months when I make this video again, hopefully they're gonna look bigger and more beautiful. Okay, so the next plant I'm going to talk about is this one. This is my Alocasia Silver Dragon, and it's very much so like the black velvet in that it tends to grow with these very short petioles. Look at how short this is. Super duper short. I've had this in my collection, I think for 1.5 years. Again, not very far for 1.5 years. It also is another one of these that pushes so many flowers. I don't know. I tried Googling why alocasia push flowers, but I just couldn't get any answers that made sense. I think this was also a victim in my shelf debuncle where a shelf fell on top of the plant. So I think I lost a bunch of leaves on this plant because of that. And I gave a little gasp because it seems like a corm activated. There's actually a leaf growing inside of the substrate. That's unusual. Wow, that corm must have been so deep. I'm gonna try to help it out and sort of dig it out a little bit. I'm probably gonna snap this leaf. Oh, I did it without snapping it. All right, so I helped it out just a little bit. Okay, wonderful. It's growing in this. I love this little setup for it. I really do. I have leca at the bottom, pon at the top, lechuza pon, and I like it. I actually might not repot this Hoya. I think it's pretty content. I could also still see the reservoir relatively well, so I don't think I don't think it needs to be repotted. So I'm gonna leave it like this. It's pushing out new growth right here. Again, is it a flower? Is it really a new leaf? We'll find out. But yeah, I really like the silverness to it. I think when the leaves get really big, you really get to see just how silver it is. I mean, it's even showing right here, and they're super shiny because they've got my horticultural oil on it to treat it for pests. It's actually more pest resilient than some of my other ones, like the dragon scale doesn't even try to resist the pest. A little bit more hardy to being underwatered as well. This one is one of the few, this one and the dragon scale, I think handle underwatering a little better. Actually, this one, the dragon scale and the black velvet handle underwatering much better than the Frydek and the Micheliciana. Their leaves are just a little bit thicker, so I think that could be why as well. But anyways, I'm gonna try not to talk too much. That's this guy. I'm just gonna give it a little water because the reservoir is low. All right, I try not to ever let the reservoir dry out or get too low. The next alocasia on my list is one that I have quite a few of. I'm just pulling off old leaves. I have a lot of this one, and I think I already knew that, but it's a reason why I need to repot and combine a lot of these plants. Yeah, it has water in it. Good. So this one is a mixed pot of corms. And here we have sort of a bouquet of my Alocasia black velvet. Oh my goodness, this plant. Alocasia black velvet. And then on the top we have Micheliciana corm, a random Micheliciana that I didn't realize was in here. And you can see we have a little bit of damage. I am fighting thrips at the moment. I don't have an infestation. They're almost there. They're trying to really burst out in my collection and I'm really keeping them at bay. Anyways, this is the majority here. Let's focus on the black velvet. Not you, I just said we're focusing on the black velvet. These velvety leaves, the dark, oh my goodness, the dark velvet look and the bright silvery, and there's even a little bit of iridescence in the veins. It is beautiful. They are beautiful. I am really surprised that I took this long to get into alocasia. I really am surprised. And the black velvet is an alocasia I think that you need to have in your collection. Like, I think most of my alocasia, I would say, are essentials that you need to have in your collection. I know I'm very biased because obviously I have them because I like them, but I think they're different. They look different enough. I mean, alocasia don't tend to look the same. This is again in no drainage, is growing in pond, and this is Lechuza pond. And I think I was smart enough to put leca at the bottom. It dries out super fast because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 plants in here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 plants. So this dries out really fast. It does feel really light. And because of that, you can see, you know, I'm getting some browning at the tips. Definitely not an alocasia that needs high amount of light. They don't need a whole lot of light. Again, when I say that, I'm not saying go stick it in a dark corner. Plants need light like we need food. They don't need to be in a caloric deficit. They benefit from getting steady light, but not harsh. But these ones, if you only see how far these guys are from the grow light, you can definitely see a difference, because look at how long the petioles are on the Michelicianas and look at how short the petioles are. It could be a growth style, like that's just the way the black velvets are, but definitely if they needed way more light, I'm pretty sure they would push longer petioles. They live on the 3rd shelf. So 1, 2, 3, the grow light, there's no grow light on that shelf. They're using the grow light on the shelf above. So you can see why the Micheliciana is definitely a little bit leggy, and these guys are fine. So black velvets are great for a lower light area. And I actually have seen this get super leggy because I remember I had it growing in another plant, like a corm randomly got misplaced and it got put in a different place. And the plant was in a lower light situation and it was super leggy. So it can get this way, but you can see again, medium light, it's super happy. And I do have another one. I tell you, I have so many black velvets. I got the black velvets from this So all of these plants, like I have 3 in there, 4, 5, and I think I tossed one the other day because it was just becoming very overwhelming. But this is the mother plant. This is the main plant that I got all of these baby black velvets from. This was actually a purchase. I got this for $3 at my local plant store a year ago, so a year and a little bit. It was January of 2024, and it was a very mature plant, and I got it because I knew it was going to have a bunch of corms in it. I got over 10 corms out of this plant, and for a while it was growing really big. It actually had a few leaves and maybe 3 or 4 leaves at once, doing very well, but I think it either fell down or something happened to it, but I put it into this jar, and since then it has never quite recovered. It has leca at the top and pon at the bottom. I want to repot it. I want to put it into something else because I'm not quite able to care for it the way I want to. So I want to start combining some of my alocasia and putting them together so that I can have a nice full plant. That's my plans for the future. I know they're gonna continue to multiply, but I think I want at least 4 together because I want to get a nice big pot. So here's another one. Oh, this one's really struggling badly from pest damage. The gold bits there on this guy. And that is one of my biggest ways of treating for pests, especially pests like thrips. When the leaf is like this, I've showed you this recently, I just delete highly infested leaves because they lay eggs inside of the leaf, and it's going to be really hard to stay on top of the treatment so that you can treat new ones when they hatch. So I'm just going to delete this guy. That's that. He's gone bye-bye, and it's pushing out a new leaf in here, so I'm not terribly worried. And like I said, I've got a bunch of others. Now, the next plant that I want to share, and I'm going to share it because it's right here, and this is my Alocasia dragon scale. I actually have 2 of them. So I have 1 and 2. This is a plant that I'm not in love with anymore. I used to love it, but I think I thought it was a different Alocasia. You sure did. I thought that it was an Alocasia dragon scale. This is in fact an Alocasia sinuata, or sinuata, you may pronounce it. It's just a little bit different from the dragon scale. It has glossier leaves, and the leaves I find are a little stiffer. They have like a bluish tinge to them, but the dragon scale has much darker, bigger leaves, and it's actually cheaper and easier to find than the Sinata. I got this very early in my plant collecting journey, so I didn't know any better. Anyways, it doesn't look the best, and I'm in 2 minds. I think I'm actually gonna either chop off this leaf because there's quite a bit of pest damage in here, and I'm not about, like I said, I'm not about battling it. And then hopefully I'll get some new growth coming out from the corm. Like some new growth is gonna come out. And this is the other one. Again, quite underwhelming. I think I might do the same for both. Actually, no, this one doesn't have anything on it. It could, but it doesn't. I had to pause to do some work. I still have a job. So I paused to get that done, and now I'm back with our next plant. One that you've seen recently. This is my Hoya, my Alocasia Adora Aurea. So you would have remembered this plant from my haul video that I filmed last month on all the new plants that I got in my collection in the month of, last month was April, right? And when I got this plant, it had 3 leaves, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. And since I've had it, in the month that I've had it, or a little bit less than a month, it has pushed out this new leaf. It's absolutely adorable. And as you can see here, this new leaf looks like there's no variegation. But since getting this plant, I learned about something called, I keep wanting to say camouflage variegation, but it's not camouflage variegation, it's Polaroid variegation, because the variegation appears just like a Polaroid camera. You know, when you take a picture with a Polaroid, at first you can't see anything, but after a while the picture appears. It's just like this. So initially there is no variegation, and as it starts to harden off, then the Aurea type variegation, the yellowish greenish, will start to appear. Funny enough, this leaf was just like that, and I didn't Not that I didn't realize, but I was a little worried because I was thinking, oh no, is it gonna come out all green? Because it looked like this at first. And now we have the beautiful Hoya look here. This plant is super easy, and I'm wondering, is it really an alocasia? Because this is a little too easy to be an alocasia, but it sure is. It's an alocasia. It's probably one of the easier varieties of alocasia. In my mind, when I look at it at first, I thought, oh, it's like a yellow version of the Heuchkeliana and the fried egg, but not exactly. It's even thinner than the Heuchkeliana and the fried egg, and it also is way flatter. I know the Heuchkeliana can be flat too, but this is like, whoa, it's extremely flat. And just the way it grows, it's just a little bit different. I'm looking forward to having all three together. Can you imagine them side by side? The all green Heuchkeliana, and then on the side the fried egg, and then this one. Oh, that'll be so pretty. I have it in my homemade pond. I've talked about this earlier. So if you look at it here, you can see it in here. And then at the bottom, I was sure to put leca at the bottom. I need more leca for the other alocasia that I need to repot. It's in no drainage, and so far it seems to be loving it. It rooted up within days of putting it in here. And when I got it, it was in sphagnum moss. I'm really surprised at how quickly this plant is growing. It's definitely by far the most easygoing alocasia that I have. I'm surprised that this has not given me a green tip. It has not lost any leaves since I've gotten it, considering that I repotted it. Yeah, I thought it would have kicked up a fuss, but it didn't. It lives up here. It lives in my cabinet up here under this Barina grow light. Trying to keep them as short as possible. I don't want them to be reaching too much. And the last alocasia is one that was gifted to me by my mom. It's the Alocasia Heuchkeliana. It's because it's such a unique name. It's an Alocasia Heuchkeliana, and it's definitely been one that the thrips adore. I've been fighting thrips on this one for a long time. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much about pests. This one is a little bit different. It has sort of a bluish tinge to it. It's funny, it's not one that I love, that I reach for, that I look out for every day. But it is unique. We'll see. I will keep it in my collection, considering it was a gift from my mom, and grow it to the best of my abilities. But it has this greenish, it's a bluish silverish tint to it. I say greenish, but yeah, obviously it's green, it's a plant, but I feel like there is a bluish tint to it. But there's a little bit of texture to them. You can feel bullate is a very generous way to describe it. I have it here growing exclusively in leca. It's actually exactly how my mom gave me this, just like this in leca. But you know what? Maybe I can put this in some of my homemade pond, give it a little bit more support here, like get the pond to come up a little bit higher. And then I could use some of this leca, sorry, as the base of one of my other plants. The leaves can size up to be like a pretty big size, like a pretty decent size. Hers is pretty big. I do think I should be giving mine a little bit more light. Again, on the bottom shelf, it doesn't get as much. Anyways, that's this one. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and I need to give it some more water. So that is it for all of the alocasia that's in my collection. I don't have a whole lot, and I actually didn't even count them. And I am trying to build my alocasia a little bit more this year. I'm trying to get, not the sick pink ones. There are some of them that look a little bit sick, but there are some with a little bit of pink that don't look too bad. I think the black velvet with yellow in it, not my favorite, but pink, not too bad. We'll see. I'm trying to get some. We will see what I manage to acquire this year. But that's it for today's video. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. The sun has met us here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.